There we go.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you, Trey?
Great. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Sweet. Yes, I can.
Perfect. Before we start, I'm just going to warn you. My dog is here.
Okay.
Hopefully he's good and quiet. But if you hear anything in the background, that's him.
Okay, no problem.
Well, welcome. I
Thanks.
am I feel like I have a celebrity on my podcast.
Please. I was just thinking about a lot of people say like, "Oh, you're so underrated." I'm like, I think I'm very complicated. I
Why do
I
you think you're
appreciate you saying that.
complicated?
I think I've got so many like of my own opinions on myself, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm underrated. I think the right amount of people know me for the amount of work I've put in. I think I just need to continue to work at it to achieve that like status. Like, oh, I got a celebrity on my podcast. But I honestly appreciate it so much hearing people say that. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're 20 years old, right?
That's
And
right.
you've, I mean, I know it might sound a little, I don't know, maybe amateur or immature to say that you're TikTok famous because I think that, we still think that that's for like the little teenagers, but it's not. It's for a lot of different people and different ages. And you are, I mean, I joined your live and you were playing music, and typically I just keep scrolling for the lives because you get sucked into them. And
Yeah.
then your voice, and you were just saying people's names. I mean, you weren't even singing songs. You were just saying people's names.
Oh,
Your
really?
your voice was just so beautiful, and then you were smiling and you had thousands of people on your page,
Oh
you
man,
know?
thank you.
Eh,
Yeah, it's yeah, I never like expected. I remember when TikTok kind of came out. I think it was 2017. And I didn't hop on like the TikTok world until like 2020. And I had a friend that told me, he kind of predicted that TikTok would be a really big thing for musicians. And I kind of laughed about it, and I thought, oh, like you said, it's just for, it's not like that adaptation of Musically or something like that. That's not really my scene, and I don't really know who I am as an artist yet. And I got into, just showing people what I do in the bedroom studio. And, apparently people really like that. And just recently, I think like a month or two ago, I was like, I should start, I'm not able to get out and do a lot of shows right now, but if I consistently play things on TikTok live, people might enjoy that. And I kind of started to figure out how to, draw people in and keep them entertained. And, I really appreciate that because I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. I mean, it must feel really nice to know that you're supported. I mean, again, you're 20 years old. Um, I did a little research. I know that you started around 12 years old to make music.
That's right.
So, at 12 years old, did you go into making music and say, I'm going to be something one day, or was it just an outlet for you?
Both. I'll never forget my very first like original performance, my own song. I only knew two chords on the guitar, and I played it in front of my sixth grade, no, not sixth grade class, the entire elementary school. And to me, I've played a lot of shows, but that was honestly one of my favorite moments of life performing because it was very surreal to see the reaction of the audience. And it wasn't a great song or anything, but just being able to express myself, was very freeing for me. And that's when I remember like in my mind while I'm singing in front of hundreds of students, I'm like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And so I kind of made that declaration right then and there.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of guts and confidence to, at that age, perform in front of a large audience, because that is a large audience and they're your peers. That takes so much confidence and guts to put yourself out there. How did you have you always been this kind of person who just has that confidence?
Um, to a degree, yeah. I started singing in church a little bit before I started writing my own music, and I was, I mean, I was always nervous. you know? And I think that I get better at not showing it. And honestly, I do become a little less nervous, obviously, as you do it more. But there was always a side of me that wanted more to be like understood and known through my music, and that kind of trumped the fear. So it just kind of I was able to kind of mask it with the fact that this is an outward expression of me, and it means a lot when people are able to appreciate it.
Yeah, and I think that music is just one of those staples for everyone where no matter what you're feeling or going through, there's a song out there. There's a song that you're going to relate to. There's a song that's just going to hit that mood right, and you're just
That's
going to
right.
whatever feeling, whether you want to get rid of that feeling or you want to be in it, there's something there. And
Yeah.
I think it's an incredible industry. And even, your song Go, the beat, right? I feel like that's how you kind of went viral is the beat, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, Go has been through a lot of stages. It's the oldest song on the album in the sense of I'd actually written it. I wrote it about 3 years before the album came out, or 4 years before the album came out, and I had kind of tucked it away and was like, I'm this is a little too weird, and but I couldn't help but the like emotional aspect of it, and how it tied in to how it seamlessly like tied into the like party aspect. Like it was very fun to dance around and jump around and listen to, but it was also like if you listen to the lyrics, it's like, there's a story behind this and it's rather deep.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help but, try to present that, in the album. I was like, okay, I'll put it on this project. And yeah, I think it's known for a few reasons. One, I mean, I got a really great opportunity to work with Peabod, and he has an amazing fan base, so supportive of him that also became supportive of my music, and so that was really really great to have that. And then, like you said, the beat and the instrumental was rather creative and innovative, but it was also familiar and just not too weird, and just but also weird enough for people to like it. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of little things, and I think everyone relates to it in different ways.
Yeah, I was listening it to I listened to it when I first discovered you, and I've been listening to it, and every time it's one of those cool songs because whenever you listen to it, there's always a little new thing that you discover, whether it's a new beat or the lyrics. Because when I first heard it, I was drawn in by the beat. It's super uplifting. It's like one of those songs that you just put on and you like dance to, as you said. But then when you listen to the lyrics, it hits differently and you just do a really good job of mixing the 2. So
Wow.
it kind of does that where no matter what you're feeling, it's kind of that weirdly perfect song to hit you whichever way you wanna go.
Yeah. Wow. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I that's very unintentional, if I'm being honest. Um, I think that I feel so like creative when I'm in front of my computer, being able to produce whatever I want using whatever samples, and I create the sounds. A lot of the album, the songs themselves, like if you look at the project files, contain like at least 200 tracks, of different instruments layered on top of each other. So it gives you the ability to hear different things every time you listen to it. And I think that like I yeah, it is like very surreal to have the ability to just put out like this emotion, instrumentally, and accidentally come up with things that work together, and then some things that not might not necessarily work together, you can still appreciate them separately, and it
Yeah.
makes you come back to the music. So I really like that you said that.
Yeah. And I feel like, the thing with music is there's always gonna be one person. I mean, there's gonna be more than one person, but one person is always gonna be able to relate to your music and your style. So it's never I feel like other industries, it's harder to find people. But with
Mm,
music, there's always someone who's gonna come to that song and say, "Oh,
right.
I like this. There's something about it that I'm relating to." And
Absolutely.
growing up, what did music do for you? Like, how did it help you become who you are?
Man, a lot of little ways, but mainly I think that growing up, I was extremely social. Like I always wanted to. I didn't necessarily want to be like the center of attention. Like it's not my goal in life to be like famous, you know. But I really want people to understand me because I feel like oftentimes I think differently, I respond differently, and I'm just socially a little different, you know. And I think everyone's can be their own social way, but I specifically, like in grade school specifically, I was always disrupting and talking to my neighbor and getting sent to the office for not being, for not paying attention. And it was funny because I was actually a really bright student in my opinion, and my grades were great and everything, but I couldn't help but want more, out of life.
Yeah.
And if I couldn't do it, if I couldn't spend a lot of time with people, you would find me singing to songs. And before I could play any instruments or write music, well, no, I always wrote music. I always had songs running through my head. And when I was about 11, I started writing things in my notebook. And so all that to say is music really allowed me to, um, it was this, it helped me understand myself, because I started saying things in my songs when I was younger, and even the stuff I'm writing right now, I'm like, man, I never really understood that about myself. And there's just something about having power. You have this sense of power when you understand who you are. And so regardless of what anyone thinks, it really is for me. I'm able to look at a finished song and go, this is like a piece of me, and it helps a ton.
Right. And I what I also love about music is, as you said, you're writing it for you, right? You're using your own experiences and your own, you know, thoughts to create music. And what you put into the song might not be what I take out of it, but
Right.
that's kind of also the magical part, is that a song can just mean something different to anyone, and you could just
Right.
take what you need from it. And
Yeah.
it's a beautiful industry, and your music is
Yeah.
just beautiful. How would you describe your music?
Um, it's funny, I'm now getting into a point where I'm starting to get a little like I wasn't sure before. Like if you asked me this a year ago, I would have been like, it's different, it's weird, it's new, it's me. But now I think that my music is very like thought provoking and honestly a little, if I'm not careful, a little self-deprecating. Like I can be brutally honest with myself in my music. But I think that for some people it's also very freeing because they'll hear something that they thought they're the only ones that thought that way or that had that thing going on. And I know I'm not like some people might consider me like famous or a celebrity or whatever. And I think that them being able to say this guy who writes songs and is playing these shows and having these followers, he actually is very similar to me. That is like you said, you might get something different out of music. And for me, I'm so happy to hear that because I just want to be able to relate.
Yeah.
So I think that I hope that it's relatable, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that, for a 20-year-old, I'm 30, and for a 20-year-old who's putting themselves out there and creating beautiful music, you're so down to earth and you're so grounded. And as you said, like, you're not considering yourself a celebrity. You're not doing this to become famous. You're doing this because it's a passion. It's a way for you to express yourself. And I also love that this whole time you're like, yeah, it's weird and I'm weird, because we're all weird, right? Like,
Absolutely.
I don't know what normal is, but I can guarantee I'm not it. So it's also refreshing to hear that you embrace who you are, you embrace your experiences, and you're putting that into music and saying, "This is me.
Yeah.
Come meet me." And
Right.
if you're the same, great. If you're just a little bit different, that's okay. Like, it's
Yeah.
just a such a powerful statement to say, "This is who I am.
Yeah.
I'm brutally honest with myself. Let's just connect. Let's be friends and grow." And it's just
Absolutely.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that like the idea of the people that listen to the music, like being friends, like clearly we have like friends in life, that are super close to us, and we need those like real close family type friends. But I honestly, when I first started, I didn't like considering the people that listen to my music. I didn't like considering them my fans necessarily, because then I felt like I'm being put on this like pedestal, and I'm like, I'd rather consider everyone that listens to be like my friend. If we can talk about the same things, if we can somehow relate to something in the song, even if it's not my own song, even if like I love finding people that like music similar to me, I like to consider those guys my friends, in some way, shape, or form. Um, and obviously not like the deep friendship style relationship that we do need in life, but to me, like you said, down to earth, that's really my goal. Is like I never want to lose myself in this because the music industry is rather it can really be dangerous. It can really change you, and you start to really see the true like colors of people, um, as they begin to acquire more and more and more. So I really appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, and I also, you know, to piggyback off what you just said, it's also really refreshing to be able, you said that you didn't want people to think that they're fans and
Right?
that they're friends. And on one level that's so refreshing because we look at, you know, quote unquote these celebrities and a lot of people want to be their friends and they want to connect with them and
Yeah,
they're just like us but they're not on some level
yeah,
and to say like, "Okay, this guy's putting out music, it's beautiful, he thinks we're friends." It's just another way to bring us all on the same level, and
absolutely. Yeah,
which
yeah,
is just so important for
right,
everyone, and
right,
it's a beautiful way to say, "Yeah, I'm putting out music, and I don't know where it's gonna take me, but we're all the same," right? Like,
absolutely.
you still have your own life, you're still going through different things, and you have your own personal experiences, you're only 20. Where do you see yourself going, or is that too broad for now to think about?
No, I'm finishing up school this year, and my dream's always been to do this, but on a larger scale. Continue to play shows and increase the amount of attendance, and and it's funny because I would do this for free. It's my absolute like joy in life. But I hope to be able to acquire a lot of resources through this, simply for the fact that, well, I got to survive, I got to
Yeah.
live and eat and things like that, but I also want to utilize that to help others. It's so cool when I see people use their wealth and use their resources and abilities, when they acquire this large status. They take that and they give back. And I don't know specifically, but I know that I don't want to keep it to myself. I don't want to put myself above anybody. I think that you know I always want to remember where I started. That's like key for me is, because I used to be that kid like in history class with my school MacBook making songs. And I want to continue to be that kid.
Yeah. I love that, and it just honestly shows who you are as an individual, and, we can get lost in the quote unquote fame and success, and to hear that that's what you want, but just to give back, right? Like, it's not
Right.
like you wanna use that for yourself, it's to give back to this world, and I think that that's amazing, and talking to you, you're so down to earth, you're so inspiring, and I know that sometimes it can be hard to hear those words because you are so grounded, but you're creating beautiful music. You're just an incredible human being, and I'm so glad to have connected with you, and I'm excited to see where you go because it's only gonna go up here from here.
Wow.
Y
Wow, Andy, I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me, and I can't tell you how it's been very uplifting actually to hear you say that. So I think that um, people will underestimate like the power of their words, but I read every positive comment and DM that I can, and whenever that happens, I just feel so inspired. It makes me want to continue what I do. So it never goes unnoticed. So I really appreciate that.
Of course. Well, I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you so much for taking time out and coming to chat with me. Conversations like this just make my day, and it just shows any human who has a passion can really do what they want and change the world, and
Wow,
that's exciting. So, thank you so much, and I hope you
absolutely.
have an
Thank you.
incredible day.
You too. You too.
Thank you. All right. Bye.
Bye.